is McKenna Law Firm at 509-765-4451. Notice that it's a little foggy on December 24th, 25th of 2024 at McKenna Law Firm at 509-765-4451. 509-765-1619 is the fax. Now the policy, regulations, and services from authorization at a McKenna Law Firm. The Presidential Primary Election, not exhibit, order and policy regulation service administration office and policy regulation of the law firm. There's Virginia McKinnon. There's Carla McKinnon. And of course, John Luke McKinnon. And don't forget Dana Garrett. Now, that documentation at the courthouse, at Grant County Courthouse, we had to do that in YouTube URL. President's primary election, Christmas vacations, sick pay, and also the dog visit. Dana Garrett got a dog visit. She had a little dog visit, Her dog needed a dog vac visit to see the doctor. And also the doctor notice, and also the Thanksgiving Eve, Christmas Eve, and Labor Day, of course, Labor Day. On top of that, the stubs, the receipts, the Social Security office at 8131 Klamath, Cincinnati, taking all the stubs, the Social Security office, taking all the driver's license tabs, John Luke McKinnon, Carla McKinnon, Virginia McKinnon, and also Mr. John Luke McKinnon, taking his license tab to the Grant County Courthouse and go to the license department, 35C Street Northwest, Fredo, Washington, 98823, and taking the blower, the Barela 200, most powerful chainsaw on the planet. Why? They stand by their name. They stand by their name because they're built tough, like Ford tough, like Ford company tough, Ford warranty, bumper to bumper warranty, mileage, and also road assistance tough, Ford tough, Mercedes-Benz tough. Now Mercedes-Benz tough, Ford tough, and John Deere Company, Milloin, Illinois tough, RT9560RT tank track system with the analog and Microsoft components that's attached to John Luke McKinnon's office at 509-765-4551. 51 states. That's 509-765-4451. So President Donald Trump, the 47th president, being elected. He's a former 45th president of the United States of America. Now he's the 47th president of the United States of America. Now, 509-765-4451 is the 51 state. Now, the contracts that he's abiding, which we got that on URL, Mr. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, and Mr. John Luke McKinnon, Carla McKinnon, Virginia McKinnon. So we're going to blow out the South Dakota plots and headstones right in front of the McKinnon Law Firm. Policy, regulations, service, the locksmith had to be recorded, his employee's office, his business card, his phone. The locks that's been provided by Basin Locksmith here in Moses Lake, right across from the GTA. Right across the street from GTA is called Basin Locksmith. Now Basin Locksmith locks this. I got all the Basin locks. All the tumblers, all the doorknobs, all the locks, all the shaftings for the tumblers and those services, and also lock keys. And then security system attachments, like electrical wiring, like Avista Utilities, the Grant County POD wiring systems connected to the, of course, this is the power pole at McKenna Law Firm. This power pole was worked on by Felix Barela himself. The internet systems, the modems, the rotors, that's connected to the McKenna Law Firm here in Moses Lake, Washington. That policy regulation, that download submitting information, recording the entire McKenna Law Firm, the policy regulation service on President's Day, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, all those timelines from day one, from 1950. Back in 1950, now John Luke McKinnon, Carla McKinnon, Virginia McKinnon. There's Flynn Mermerman. There's Flynn Mermerman and Palmer back in 1950s. Jay Mueller's funeral home was back in 1950s. Tri-State Herald and the Basin Herald back in 1950s. See, this is McKinnon Law Firm at 509-765-4451, 509-765-6019. John Luke McKinnon, Carla McKinnon carries a administration office, a policy regulation, COVID authorization by Donald J. Trump. Now the face recognition, the dental upper, I got quadrants on my top, quadrants on the lower, and I had to do some modifications on services since this is 1950s in Kennewick, Washington, Richmond, Washington, Seattle, Washington, Mr. Bill Gates, the former owner of Microsoft, and also now, because Felix Barela, with his activation, with his protocol and feeding back information to Bill Gates, former William H. Gates, at 1835 73rd Avenue, Medina, and going to all the administration office, direct deposits, EFT transactions, Social Security office, John Luke McKinnon's office, Carla McKinnon, Virginia McKinnon, back in 1950s. Now, going back where Grandma and Grandma back in 1900s, and Grandma, 1800s, and then Jay Mueller, Amy Mueller, and the siblings, the stockpile of information, of data at funeral home back in 1950s and 1900s, back in the 1800s, back in the 1700s, back when bears, brown bears and black bears roamed the area. Cougars, wild brown bears, wild black bears, and grizzly bears came to this area. Now it's populated with population and service back in 1950, which is 509-765-4451 is 704 East Olive Avenue. Propane lines has expanded. The grunt tower has expanded. The policy regulation has expanded. McKinnon Law Firm. Back when Virginia and John Luke McKinnon were spring chickens, when they were babies, fetuses in a fallopian tube, and then illustrated in a law Congress Senate floor and distributed at a Congress library, bringing their documents and services administration in McKinnon Law Firm in Tri-Cities, Washington by Felix Barela. Now, running a law firm in Tri-Cities is a multi-billion-dollar business because we have a Wall Street. I shit you. I poop you not. S-H-I-T. See, you can't lie about an area of location of when you have files and systems and archives from Kennewick, Washington, the Kennewick Command. Now, the Kennewick Command was recovered at Columbia Park, where the boat race weekend is on display. You got air show, you got the final heat, you got the hydroplanes, you got the smaller caliber engines, you got U-571, the smaller engine ones, and then you got the Budweiser hydroplane with aviation jet engine, compatible over a mighty Columbia River. And the Mighty Blow Bridge is the main chariot of Lamb Weston, Washed Potatoes, Scone & Connor, Hapo Credit Union, STCU Credit Union, and also the Oompa Bank, US Bank, Chase Bank, Key Bank, and don't forget the biggest one is Wells Fargo. And do a signature confirmation verification with that, the mighty Columbia River. We have the George Washington House, number 42. And that Grant County Courthouse, that George Washington, the first president of the United States of America. And that archive of Mike Celtic and the Brooks Athletic Club. Decorating the policy, regulation, service, and going commissioner's office in Grant County. There's 3 commissioners, 3 judges, and we got a bunch of judges taking offices and taking monuments and services because President Donald Trump has his election campaign here in Freda, Washington, here in McKenna Law Firm, and then also the Congressional Service, Mr. Watley. He sent in his National Committee letter, and then I have to download it, put it on Sway, and put it on the Microsoft component. All this video conversation, chats, video URL, video conversation, prosecutor's office, commissioner's office, and also the policy regulation of the computer system that's in this office has been broken twice, smashed into the ground, brought into the policy regulation. Now my drop-proof insurance, my full coverage insurance, and my business renewal at a McKenna Law Firm at 509-765-4451, and submitting confirmation signature FedEx UPS confirmation signature verification with no regrets, with no hesitation, with no flinching, no making things up or fabrication in way, shape, and way, and form, because the president primary election is still counting ballots. Now the ballots are still counting. Doesn't mean you win, we stop counting. We stop counting, you win, you win. There's a winner and there's a loser, right? There's a first, there's a winner and there's a loser. Vice President, President, Vice President, Mr. Waltz and Mr. Mr. Waltz, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Mr. Waltz, all these affirmative actions and policy regulations, how they stipulate the situation, but we're still calling ballots. Day after day, YouTube, URL at 704, you saw 509-765-4451, fax 509-765-6019. Confirmation after signature, FedEx UPS, signature confirmation, deposit after deposit, video confirmation, direct walk-in, APO, STCU, Giza Credit Union, and also the service and policy regulation, direct deposit of HAPO Credit Union in Clearwater, which is Mercedes-Benz. Taking photos of Mercedes, recording Mercedes-Benz dealership and direct deposit EFT transaction at a federal courthouse at 825 Jadwin. 825 Jadwin. Richland, Washington. Richland City Hall. Ryan Lutzkin. City Mayor, Richland. Eric D. Olson. Olson Properties, Othello, Washington, American Title, and also Olson Properties in Othello, Washington. The Chief of Police, and also the City Hall Mayor, and the Service and Policy at Olson Properties in Tri-Cities, Washington. URL direct deposit. We got these titles in the Implement Center, and also the Social Security Office is very important, 8131, because you got billing manifests, you got DHS office, you got letters that has to be faxed straight into the Olympia office for your registration ballot forms and also your business renewals. And you hit that information center and you put your client ID and your first and last name and your driver's license, and of course at a department, the license department. Walk-in Human Resources, you got to print out another birth certificate, you got to print out another business license, and then we have to print out another Social Security card, and then print out another Medicare card submitted to the mailbox, because they're going to break Felix's laptop for the second time. So they stopped for me to fax information from McKenna Law Firm. So they come here and bring a locksmith and make testimony, but we stopped that because we put them on video. We had a little conversation with the locksmith, and the locksmith here in Moses Lake, Washington on Broadway. We got medical records. That's Carla McKinnon. Carla gets medical records on Broadway. So we went a step further by Basin Herald, recording Basin Herald, giving her credit card swipes, good transaction, routes, batch numbers, direct deposits, EFT on video. So we straightened that with the confirmation signature for FedEx UPS, because we call on this phone the McKenna Law Firm PS Corp, called the Supreme Justice Department, Mrs. Robertson from the Supreme Justice Department that's hired 3 Supreme Justice Department, and Mrs. Jackson by Joe Biden, the President primary election by, of course, Mr. Norman J. Manis, and Mr. Mark Miley, United States Army, Pentagon, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Mr. Norman J. Manis, General at the one time as the Marine Corps, and then General of the Army, and also Mr. Mark Miley, General, and also Department of Defense, realizing Mr. Austin Army and Navy game started out. So he had his speech. Notre Dame. He came from Notre Dame and then became the United States Army. He's going to be paid by the United States Army. So he got paid because he came from Notre Dame. So the Qualities of Control Act has been authorized. So we have women. A woman inside the my office. In my office, and Mr. Lloyd Austin walks in there with video confirmation. She wants to be in artillery. She wants to be in the battalion of politics, which is a general, major increments in intel information of applying a woman at war in the front lines. In the front lines. A woman in front line artillery, in front lines, in front of Lloyd Austin. He's shocked. He's announcing where he stands, where he's standing, where policy regulation of change of time, a community that policy regulation that's not fit for a woman. At that time duration of his standing there, he's witnessing testimony of change of consequences of war. Meaning, you can't discriminate a woman, and you can't discriminate a woman and man marriage as a woman holding her rank in her publicity stunt. It's on video URL. It's McKenna Law Firm. This is the real thing. The real deal. Time at war and time at deed. Time at services. This is Army-Navy thing going on. So the confirmation verification, we're going to have this download submitted information. Mr. Norman J. Mattis, Mr. Donald J. Trump, and his assailants and his vice presidents and services. As you can see, the extent to the works. Donald Trump was assassinated July 13th, and we got the records division involved because McKenna Law Firm is Kennewick, Washington. This is a beautiful thing. Mr. Norman J. Mattis and Andy Miller, Mr. Dano Gar from the Grant County Courthouse, a beautiful thing. I'm in Mr. Dano Gar's office, calling, making conversations with the President of the United States of America. Integrated by, of course, Mr. Obama and Donald Trump, and then integrated by Joe Biden and Mr. Donald Trump. And again, Mr. Clement Harris and Donald Trump. In the Policy Regulation, their Service Administration Office, bringing testimony and witnesses as all through the nation's the Comments and Services Administration Office on Facebook, YouTube, and Microsoft, Mr. Bill Gates himself. 1835 73rd Avenue. Mr. Donald Trump, Mr. John Luke McKenna is going to have to drive me to Bill Gates' property estate. See, taking an oath, taking position, taking recommended services, Roberta Barela, Lola Hernandez, and Ivanka Trump. Taking her services to consequences, and I have to walk all the Social Security office. Transport for Department of Transportation by the bus pass services, Seattle, Washington. Go to the BFT Transit by the bus pass in July. And also the DeWalt, the Toro Brigadier Stratton 150cc, the Toro Stratton blower, 3 of them, and the most powerful blower on the planet, Barela BR200 steel chainsaw and steel blower with a magnitude of 250 miles an hour. The BR200, the BR800, I'm sorry. The 800 has 250 mile an hour capacity. The weight has an automatic kicker on it. The BR200, which is here at McKenna Law Firm. See, consequently, how they come in here try to make things up and fabricate everything in such a way manner. We're going to fax that and go to DHS. I'll put on video. Since the expenses and services, brand new driver's license, CDO requirement, and brand new Social Security card, and brand new checkbooks and credit cards has to be reissued and submitted in person, and Social Security office on video URL at Bob Ferguson's office in Kennewick, Washington. Her name is Sarah McLean. Teresa Salo. I walked outside. She's outside in the parking spot. Now, Teresa Salo, she's warming her car up since it's like, lunchtime. in lunchtime, we got much collaborations due to Mr. Donald Trump. The red line, it's transported to Donald Trump and red line, recording that direct deposit, Donald Trump, Felix brother. He has to be magnitude of distraction of being assassinated and dragged out. And till this day, they're still erasing information and bringing magnitude to their service of how corrupted they are. Being the former 45th, now the former 47th president of the United States of America. Changing his ways of service is how corrupted they are, and have to download everything, erasing much of the magnitude of damage that has been done here at McKenna Law Firm. Now resetting those features under McKenna Law Firm with the reissuing a business license that was issued out from the laptop transported with John Luke McKenna's office and Mr. John Luke McKenna himself, presenting evidence as a policy regulation here at McKenna Law Firm, and bringing much of a testimony of raised services of how corrupted they are, of bringing a testimony, policy regulations and services of the President of the United States, 45th, the former 45th President of the United States. See, Social Security card, the damages, policy regulations, service, brand new driver's license, CDO requirements, and then go to the gun store on video URL, reinstall 44th, 45th President of the United States, inviting that fax confirmation signature, pleading not guilty, signing the document policy at 45th, 47th President on September 18th of 2024, and then July 13th to that, making that phone call to leave the fax confirmation verification, and also including the policy regulating medical benefits that need to be paid. Now, Donald Trump has medical benefits, Mr. John Luke, Carlin, Virginia, and also me going to direct deposit and stopping me to do the video confirmation verification, signature verification on video URL, and submitting that information. And they came in here twice, breaking the phones, the business license, taking the business license, and then coming in here and making things up with agencies and recording information, and also making fabrication things from day one. This is Donald J. Trump. This is Mar-a-Lago, Florida. And also the California direct deposit and the policy regulations are authorized at McKenna Law Firm at 509-76545, and making out checkbooks and credit cards out, and have to reissue the policy regulations service with no hesitation. And without any hesitation, Mr. Notre Dame making testimony, Mr. Lloyd Austin, General of the United States Army, Mr. Mark Miley, downloading some information, 704 East Olive, Moses Lake, Washington, John Luke McKenna, Carla McKenna, Virginia McKenna. Now in Virginia, back goes the 1950s, and back in 1940s. Now confirmation, signature, verification, and policy regulation at Kennewick, Washington, McKenna Law Firm in Kennewick, Washington. The file systems of archives from day one when George Washington was the president, second, third, fourth, all the way to the 47th President of the United States of America. That includes Abraham Lincoln, Benjamin Franklin. He was an assistant in service and policy, created electricity, and also the policy regulation of returning fire of building the nuclear bomb. The first atom smash to be built able to comprehend and control the deterrence of nuclear power by taking energy molecules and breaking it down to small atoms. That's plutonium and uranium. Plutonium and uranium, that's called fusion. Fusion is called a nuclear reaction when the nuclear bomb explodes. So we got small particles called an atom smasher or hammer mill in Richland, Washington. And the Richland hammer mill was created by these two hands, these 10 fingers, these two eyeballs, this mouth, these teeth, these ears. The CDO Requirement License Department, and also the Department of Policy and Department of Defense, this is Lloyd Austin. Now, he wanted his check cashed at the bank. This is Lloyd Austin. He wanted his check cashed. He wanted it deposited. He wanted checks, credit cards, just like John Lee McKenna, Virginia McKenna, and Carla McKenna, and Dana Garrett. Vacation paid. You got Labor Day. You got Thanksgiving Eve. You got Black Friday. You got Christmas Eve, New Year's. You get all this data, Mr. Lloyd Austin. He drove all the way to the bank, and I had him. He had a little conversation with all the clerks, the staff members, policy regulations, employment services. We made witness and testimony how they erase information. And then we go all the way to California to do the direct deposit. And on the way, there's San Diego. Now, San Diego is in Tijuana Flats, Tijuana Sloughs, San Luis Obispo County, Maricopa County, which is Arizona. So there's a boot camp policy, Mr. Senator McCain. Mr. McCain, this is a living individual, Mr. Norman Manus. Now, Norman Manus is the diplomatic policy regulation, the future of policy of Mr. Andy Miller. Andy Miller was created. Mr. John Luke McKinnon was created. Carla McKenna, Virginia was created. A policy regulating recording information of all the damaged broken window, also breaking the laptop twice, and the phone twice, and the modem, the rotor, which sits on the desk. The fax machine that was pulled out of here, having all the data and services they used to erase information on sequence numbers and policy regulations and checkbooks and credit cards that were issued out from this fax confirmation signature verification, and on that policy regulation of damages pertaining to that information, policy regulation and services. And that phone calls, conversation, 509-736-306, fax number 527-122 West Okanine Place, Kenneth, Washington, 509-736-3006. That's Eric I. Singer, Andy Miller, Ryan Lutzkin, of course. And also the service of the direct deposit, Mr. Andy Miller, Norman J. Mattis, because he wanted to retire too and get his check cashed at the Social Security office at 813 Klamath, Cincinnati, Kenneth, Washington. Now, John Luke McKenna and Carla McKenna, Virginia, making witness and testimony of the checks they stole out of the desk, and also the checkbooks and service and sequence numbers from the fax that they took out of here, which was totally against the law, which is a federal offense. A federal offense would be in prison for the rest of the duration time of your life without any way of getting out, any way, shape, and form. That's what Donald Trump will tell you in any way, shape, and way and form. Since this is not North America, they built the dollar store in the GTA at the GTA bus barn in the policy at Larson Air Force Base and Army Base here in Moses Lake, Washington, and also called North America Export Express. North America. Now that North America policy, we will YouTube that dollar store and the sidewalk and also the installation and the Dollar General and the policy regulation that Melissa McLeod, Larissa Perez, and Human Resources, and also the 3 judges, 3 commissioners, and also the swearing into oath and policy, and all the judges, policy regulations, 35C, George Washington. Why? Because they erased information. They broke the laptop for the second time. Broke the laptop for the second time. And the contents of information of breaking into policy regulation and grabbing the George Washington statue, the George Washington picture, the monument policy, and broken laptops and policy regulation. The second time, the laptop, the phones, the grandstones, calling using his business license, calling Mrs. Robertson from Supreme Justice Department, let her notify Declaration of Independence, the Social Security, the driver's license, the business license renewal, policy regulation and service had to be refabbed, rebuilt, retyped, refabbed, burned on the CD, download some of the information, watch State Trooper Association online, recording information, policy regulation and service, and policy regulation bringing that implemented service and policy regulations live. Sorry, this is a Verizon phone.
You have reached Southeast Communication Center. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911. Si es una emergencia, cuelgue y marque el 911. Para español, presione 1.
Non-emergency dispatch.
Yeah, is there a way you can connect me to the Kennewick State Trooper's office? Are you able to connect me to Kennewick State Trooper's office? I need to try to
And what is this for?
fax, FedEx, confirmation signature of a receipt.
Let's see here. I can see if I can get this in. For a FedEx signature, you said?
Yeah, it's a collision report that's to be authorized on for inspection.
Okay, let me see if I can get you through. Wait while I transfer your call. Sea Patrol, this is Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron, I want to send a confirmation signature. I got burned off the CD, had to re-record it, download it on the PDF. I get the VIN number, the license number, and the state trooper in the back of the vehicle, and then I reattached it to a modem. So I had to reset everything out. They took an air compressor to the water lines and the propane line, and it's connected to a timer, and that timer's connected to the Microsoft wire. So I need to submit it to you again. Is there a way that I can have that done now so I can take care of that to you from McKenna Law Firm here in Moses Lake? The McKenna Law Firm here in Moses Lake at Color Imaging. Are you able to do that? I need to send that to you.
That's fine.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
See, the McKenna Law Firm here in Moses Lake, Washington, making phone call conversations and immediate direct deposit EFT transactions from the State Trooper's office to the Kennewick Police Department, Mr. Olson, Kennewick, Captain, Chief of Police, and also the Mayor's office in Kennewick, Washington. Also, the Richland Federal Court has taken a VOC all the way to the courthouse and Social Security office because they broke in the window. And this recording the Basin Herald, the locksmith himself, making the conversation and calling him. Video, the Basin Herald, going to put on video several times, day after day, week, month after week, year after year, recording it. And this is live.